You see this, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, live.
I see live. We are live.
Hello, Mrs. Teresa Collins.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Hello, Miss Jennie Kitching, Hypnowoman. How are you doing today?
We are doing marvelously, aren't we? We're doing marvelously because we're almost at the end of our trials, the 12 trials of the law of attraction. And, oh, there's my name. Oh, I always use the wrong hand because it's like backwards. It's like, oh, what hand do I move? Yeah. Oh, I'll move that one. There we go. No, I'll move that one. Oh. Do you get
okay, let me know when I need to join.
Just in case anybody's forgotten, we are discussing this book and there's various people coming along with us on this journey doing the various trials. We're on trial 11 and there are 12 trials in all. And trial 11 is called 5 minutes to flip it.
Right.
And the little
and I love this one, Jen. Can I just interrupt you for a sec? Because I do love this one. This is one that, even if you weren't able to stay with us for the last 10 trials, I love this 5 minutes to flip it. This is really something that you can absorb and really start to bring into your life today. So don't worry if you haven't gone back and watched the 10, just watch us now. You're here now. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And this will be a life-changing experience for you.
Well, it's a very, very good point, Teresa, because even though the book, of course, is a sequential process, because that's how we do books in a linear kind of fashion, we know life isn't linear. And what these really are 12 aspects to why what you're wanting isn't manifesting, really.
Or how to manifest it better.
And knowing how the part of our mind that takes us literally works, knowing, almost being aware that sometimes we don't know what's best for us. You know, we've had enough fairy tales, haven't we? Like King Midas, whatever. I want everything I touch to turn to gold. Yeah, try eating gold. You know, we've had enough of these little warnings through our storytelling over the years. Though quite often, we often say, don't we, careful what you wish for. You might get it, you know, and we don't really know the consequences of what would happen. So
well, it's after the happily ever after.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have so many people that want to meet a guy, They want to get married. But there's so much more to the story. Just because you're married doesn't mean that it's over. There's so much more.
That's the beginning. That really is the beginning.
Yes.
So my little subheading to this chapter is come and rub shoulders with me so some of that rubs off. Do you have that saying over there? Oh, come and rub shoulders with me. If somebody,
yeah, maybe. I don't use it, but yeah, I think it's here too.
It's probably quite old now. Kind of, a lot of these are old wives' tales type things where there's always an element of truth, else they wouldn't have lasted, would they?
Oh,
but
yes.
Here in England, if we see somebody with the car that we want or they've got really good luck, to kind of stop us from being jealous in a way, if you feel that kind of, oh, that's what I wanted, we might say jokingly, come and rub shoulders with me, as if we want that luck to rub off, you know? So,
excellent. Okay. What do we do?
We're working with the presence of essence. There's essence in all things. So we actively seek out specifically what we want, and we spend 5 minutes. It doesn't sound like long, but we know by experience it's a long time.
It's like an eternity.
5 whole minutes out of 24 hours. We want to spend 5 whole minutes where you kind of write down the essence of what you want. So you might record this. You might, one of the techniques is pulling things out of magazines or watching programs on this thing that you want. If you want to move to the country, there's a program here called Escape to the Country. And sometimes when we do this, we notice, and this is the work, really, this is the work, to notice what comes up whilst we're watching these people that have this thing that we want. Do we then start to deny our own desire? Well, I didn't really want it anyway. Or, well, it's all right for them, you know. So it's just noticing what comes up within those 5 minutes. And as we said just before this, on a course, I've just made people do it for 20 seconds because
Yes.
20 seconds is enough sometimes, you know?
And maybe start with 20 seconds, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And then see and move into the 5 minutes, even 60 seconds, because 60 seconds is quite a long time. And it's funny because we're saying it's a long time, but in our scheme of what we focus on, what we don't want, we could spend 18 hours a day focusing on what we don't want.
Well, that's it. And as you know, it's the energy, which is the force of volition, which sends out the signal. So if we just have this passing thought that we want the new sports car, or we want the man of our dreams, or whatever our focus is, and or we want to win the lottery, that's the classic, isn't it? But it's kind of followed up the rest of the day by, well, that's not likely to happen, is it? Then that's kind of undone some of our good work. So we want to give as much juice as possible to the essence of it. So why to do it? By figuring out what change you really want in your experience and positively interacting with the essence of it, you draw more and more similar experiences to you. So this is noticing the stepping stones, the coincidences along the way. Whilst it might not be the actual thing, you might find some money in the street. You might actually have somebody give you something unexpectedly. And whilst it might not be the actual thing, it's an essence of it, as you've commented before, Teresa. Those little coincidences kind of are indicators that you're on the right track. Keep going.
Yeah. And often they show up in different ways. Like people will say, I want abundance, yet the person in front of them bought coffee. Oh, well, now I have an abundance of coffee. I forget to think, oh, yes, that's the abundance coming to me already.
Oh, and the idea that once we focus on the subject, we focus on the having of it and the absence of it.
Yeah,
and so once we might not say it out loud, we might say it in our heads. And we know we're all about what we say in our heads. It's kind of easy to spout affirmations, but recognizing what comes up when you say them is the work.
It's not just what you say in your head, Jen, though. It's how you feel about it, right? So it's the emotion that when you say essence, yes, it's that feeling that you're invoking around it. And that feeling is really, I mean, the words go hand in hand, but without the feeling, the words are just empty.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And we know people don't often mean what they say. They don't often say what they mean, though we do have to use words to communicate. But of course, it's the feeling behind it. So if you think that you hate your job, and you'll not only hate your job, you will hate your world. If you think you are unloved, you will be unloved, and you begin to be unloving. If you want to be rich, you may avoid those rich folks who could tell you how to become rich. You have 5 minutes to turn this round, and it's time to flip it. So it's just noticing when we do tune into the essence of it, and we attract, say, somebody who's won the lottery. Let's just keep it simple. Want to win the lottery, and you bump into someone, or you have a friend or a distant relative who actually has won the lottery. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of indicator as to how close we are to it, isn't it, Teresa? Because if you're joyous for them and, wow, that could easily happen to me, that's fantastic, I'm getting closer to it. Or is it, well, I knew it, they've already got enough already.
Yes. Or it never happens to me. It always happens to somebody else. It never happens to me. That's a wonderful thing people like to sprout behind the scenes there.
So we've had the what to do, why to do it. Now this is the how, and we're always interested in the how, aren't we, Teresa? We want to fully associate and immerse ourselves in aspects of the thing that you already have access to. So like you're saying, you ask for abundance and somebody gives you a coffee unexpectedly, and we don't sometimes recognize that's the abundance you've been asking for. I don't just want a coffee, I want £1 million. Yes, but that's the abundance you've been asking for. This is it here. Yeah. Find the essence in what it is that you want, and bask in it. You want to
Ooh, I like that word bask, Jenny. I like that. Oh, really allow it to flow over you. I like that.
So, you know, I used to swim regularly, probably every day, in the warm, still, holding beautiful azure blue waters of Rhodes, Greece. So to your body, with your eyes closed, you could have the same feeling being in your avocado sweet bath in your tiny little one-bedroom flat. Now, I can sense other people will be laughing too. They'll say, what? Because they're looking from the outside, and we're talking about the inside. And so to feel supported by the water, to feel the silkiness of the water against the skin, to recognize that you're feeling comfortable and lighter and freer. You know, because I've done that so regularly, I really understand the essence of it. Yeah. I could sit here in rainy England in November and say and lament the fact that I'm not swimming in those waters, or I could have a bath, and I could bask in the essence of it. Because there's a part of us that doesn't know the difference, really. We're sensing it on the inside. So this is what we mean by essence. What's the essence of that which you want?
Yeah, it's funny because I played with this week, because last year and this exact same time I was in Portugal. So I spent some time actually completely envisioning and allowing and aligning and like pulling myself back there this week so that I could really anchor in those feelings still. Really like remember, because it happened once, but if you don't continue to anchor it, we tend to lose it. And that's that beautiful feeling of like my girlfriend's wedding, we were underneath a light of a dream catcher made of lights around a sacred fire, and we were being sung to by a private entertainer that usually has 20,000 people at his stage. And just this really remembering how that feeling is, like that was probably the most magical time. And it was a full moon. Oh my goodness. And it was a full moon, of course. How could I forget? It was a full moon. So, and just the complete utter freedom and literally being in a storybook and just like really remembering that is my life. That is possible. That is my reality. That if I was there once, I can do it again. Right. And this reality is in my genes now. So not just saying that I experienced this once, but also like truly delving into this experience now. Like you said, our mind doesn't know the time difference.
Yes. And we think we're temporal beings. There's a reason why we're in a body that ages. We make the most of every single minute, and that we experience things differently at one age to at another age. Though our mind is completely free to hop, skip and dance throughout all our experience. And everything really is now. And we could get very expansive on that. Though back to that idea that somebody else, not you, somebody else might be thinking of a similar situation. How many people can't go on holiday now and they had their holidays booked? And they could be thinking of, oh, how wonderful it was when I went there 10 years ago and we were supposed to go this year and da. And it's for them really that we're saying this, that you can really, honestly and truly kind of hypnotize yourself back into that experience. And in doing so, because you do when you dream, when you sleep at night anyway, but if you can consciously program yourself, just 5 minutes, people, just 20 seconds, so when you have those conversations with others, you know, this time last year I was lying on the beach. Oh, it was wonderful. And this happened and that happened. And it was a full moon. And, it's almost like you're getting into a nice warm bath, isn't it? Oh, it was just so wonderful.
Yes.
Sense yourself, or some people, following up with, yeah, but we can't do it this year, can we? Lord knows, we're not going to do it. Yeah. So, ourselves, even if we're having a pleasant experience and we're really getting into it, and then we open our eyes and think, oh, it's raining. You know, even these moments of our own, when we recognize that the physical reality around us isn't perhaps conducive to the state that the environment created. And you and I are in the business of helping people change state and being free of environment. The environment really helps, of course it does. It's wonderful, it's lovely. Though if the environment rules our mood, then it's time to have a map to escape, even if it's just 5 minutes in 24 hours.
Yeah. And this is so vital right now, Jen, because this 2020 really allowed the outside to dictate the inside. And moving into 2021, my true impact and goal to share is having your inside dictate your life. So not being so ruled by the outside appearances anymore. Yes, things are happening. Yes, things are going on, but you have the responsibility to react and respond in a way that's in your highest good now, instead of going down the rabbit holes.
And isn't this, to get a little bit spooky with folks, isn't this indicative of the next dimension? That your vibration will have changed when you're actually remembering in that very vivid way, being in Portugal, your vibration has changed and your situation changes without the physical reality around you having to. You're rising above.
Yeah.
We're readying ourselves for the next dimension, thinking you're there.
Yes.
You know, there won't be that sort of lag of time that we have here. Thank goodness we've got a time lag here, because quite often we wish for that which isn't good for us. You know? And halfway along the path we go, oh, perhaps not.
Oh, shit, back we go, back we go.
Imagine you think yourself in Portugal and you're there. What would the kids do?
Well, they'd have to order skip the dishes. Mom and Dad flipped out again.
Now you've passed the trial when, ultimately, now you've passed the trial when you've truly felt the essence of that which you want to create. What feedback do you get from the body? You know, we do tend to all be about the mind, but as we've been doing the chakra training on another live feed, we also want to know, what does the heart think about that? Where do you feel it in the body? Is it the solar plexus? What's that got to say about it? Is it the third eye? Are we actually envisaging? And is it the sacral? Is it the root? Are we rooted in that reality? You know, what's the whole of our energy system? Feedbacking. What responses is our feedback device giving us from that?
And tapping into the awareness of where you are now, and then as you play with this 5 minutes, 20 seconds, whatever you wish, feeling how your body responds that way. Because your body will tell you if it's in your highest good. Your body will give you that yes response. Oh, this feels good. It may feel a little scary, but it's going to feel good, right? That little excitement. Oh, that flutter. Oh, am I really doing that? I feel a little nuts. This response is lovely, because as it raises you up, raises your vibration for the whole to easily attract this as well. And that excitement energy the universe loves.
And let's talk about very briefly, because people ask me quite often, the phobia state, because even that's excitement, if you like, excitement in a way to keep yourself safe. But let's say it's an excited state of being because your body, if you like, or a memory of something that we once thought harmful comes up, and typically people freeze. They like to think that they're going to be the one killing the spider or whatever it is, or getting the snake from around the girlfriend's neck. And I don't know why that came to mind, but quite often,
past life.
It's a freezing of energy. It's a stagnation. And what's interesting here, and this is how I'm going to twist it, you know, we're both good at twisting things to the positive. If somebody has a phobia, what they're doing is remembering a state. They're seeing a photograph in their minds of the time of the worst point of fear. They're very able to focus in on what they've exaggerated in their mind as a huge spider, for example, when actually it's probably quite small. But their imagination has added juice over the years. So there is an element of time, but really what the person has done is they've regressed themselves. They've allowed their environment to regress them to that very specific point at the height of their terror. And even though they're much older now and they know spiders can't hurt them, blah, 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 their unconscious mind has gone, wah! And they're seeing a snapshot of an old reality, and they're revivifying it in the present moment. And the environment has brought it up. So on the flip side of that, isn't that a good faculty of mind, if we were to think of the height of pleasure of something we experienced? Because conversely, typically, people tend to do the opposite. Not you, Teresa, but people tend to do the opposite. They think of the wonderful thing. Oh, when I was in Portugal. Oh, and the full moon. Oh, it was a full moon. I'd almost forgotten. Oh, then if it leads to a negative experience or something happened, yeah, but on the plane back, blah, 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 they play a video.
Right.
So they don't stay in the moment for that 5 minutes or the 20 seconds. Their mind automatically, yeah, but, and they play the video and they miss out elements. Like you almost missed out the full moon. We miss out elements. And particularly if we're with somebody that isn't basking in the experience with us. Like, oh, yeah, when you're in Portugal, yeah, I wish I could have gone to Portugal. Yeah. So sometimes it's hard to stay there.
And I think that phobia is anchored in naturally, but the Portugal, I intentionally anchored in there.
Yeah.
So because of my awareness, when I was in there, I said, I'm anchoring this. I'm soaking this in. I'm creating a physical pathway back. So this knowledge that we're sharing with everybody is very, very important, because as you move forward and you have those great days, those days where you just feel absolutely amazing, those experiences, those, it may not be a trip, but maybe it's just that day where everything was right. We had a wonderful dinner on Saturday night with the kids, and I anchored it in again. We went out to, somewhere fancy, and it was lovely conversation and connections, and it was just what they ate and how they behaved and how they showed up in the world. And I did this intentional anchor so that now when I go back, I can see these things again. So as humans, we tend to anchor in the phobias, the fears. Now with this awareness and intention, we can start to anchor in the rest of it.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Yes, indeed. And I've got a few tips and tricks here for folks. Though they might not work as they did when the book was written, because we're in a different phase of reality, aren't we? Because this is all about jobs. I'm hoping that the example works if you want to shift the awareness to something else, those that do watch the video. For example, let's say people dislike the job they've got currently. Why? Well, it bores you silly. Though you are busy and you yearn to do other things with the time you spend there, it drags on so much. You just know how creative you could be doing something else. Everyone else seems bored too. You count the hours until home time. The more you think about work, the more tired and miserable you become. The example of the solution I offer here is, in understanding that you dislike your job, you will seek to be with like-minded co-workers who also dislike their job, amplifying your angst. Now, kind of this happens naturally. We gravitate towards people that think the same way as we do. And as John Cleese over here said at one point, if you want to play golf, you don't go and try and learn from lots of other people who can't play. You pick somebody that plays well and you go and spend time with them. But it tends to be in other situations, we often don't like somebody or a group of people that are rich if we're not rich, or happy if we're not happy. So we tend to, in the workplace, gravitate to what's the same.
So I have a solution for this. So my son and I played this reality flip. So he's pretty cool kid. So he gets me really big level. So if you're doing something you like, time goes fast, correct? If you're doing something that sucks, time goes slow. So in his job, he plays the game where he finds everything he likes about it to make his day go faster. And it works.
Yes, very good. Excellent.
So then the time doesn't drag on. He's playing is manipulating time, because time really is manipulative. We're really able, it's malleable. We're allowed to mesh it. We can't break it, but we can bend it. And as you start to be really aware of this reality, you can start, even if you don't love your job, if you find all the things you do love in it, your days go faster.
Well, this is an interesting thing, because people who didn't like their jobs before lockdown seem to really love them now, and they just want the connection with people. And that's why I say I don't think this works in the same way now. But
I think it do. I think actually it's pretty extreme, because the people that do have been working through all this, their lives are getting a little harder. And I seen a post from a nurse that said, you know, the parades are gone, the lights are off, and we're still dealing with all the crap, and everybody's losing patience. So it's more important even now to find those places that you do like your job again.
Well, we're being catapulted, aren't we? And that's one of the reasons that we're doing these things. And I know we have our very light moments, because we need those, and naturally we gravitate towards the lighter moments. Though we do dip down, and particularly this idea of thought careering, because thoughts are magnetic. So if we, for example, don't like our job, and we're being with people that don't like their job, etc., the solution I've got here, as you've just said, to seek out those who seem to enjoy their work and spend time understanding their situation. Remember, there was a time when you did enjoy the work within your current role. You use your creativity to seek out that which interests you, as you taught your son, and you do things in a new way and create something that involves all of your attention easily. So much so that time passes without you realizing it. Have you read this book?
No, I have not. We are just on the same page. I love it.
I know. It's about literally being on the same page. You find time, you find things to focus upon that energize you and lifts your mood, because, as you've just said, very naturally and easily, that our perception of time is kind of different according to circumstance and our perception of that experience, whether we're enjoying it or not. Though we can bend time and we can condense events, and this is now proven scientifically. It is. The explanation. In the above example, the reasons for wanting the change of job were to express creativity. We are creative beings. We find jobs, even if we don't like them at the moment, we find them exciting and exhilarating to begin with. We're really pleased to have got the job. We want to express our creativity. We want to do things in our own unique way. We want to have more fun and more interest, and enjoy interacting and being in an environment that supports us. The worker had forgotten how to do this and needed to be reconnected with the essence of it. Sometimes we need to see a situation through a different lens, rather than allowing our beliefs, which may have originated from a disgruntled colleague, to weigh down our vibration. The way to move beyond the situation is to take all the learnings from it, take control of your own mood, rather than being governed by the environment. Because I can just hear people, as they've said to me in the past, well, you haven't got my boss.
Yeah.
No,
I like what you say about the different lens there, Jen, because we do tend to allow ourselves to get influenced by others. And maybe we didn't see it as such a challenge in the beginning, but now we're sucked into that idea, or that corporate, it's not corporate though, it's like company negativity, to be honest. So you go in there with that great idea. Oh, I love this job, I'm so excited. And they're like, why do you love it? How come you like it? It's not the greatest job, blah, blah, blah. And then we tend to find ourselves get sucked into that kind of whirlpool of what, and now we're looking all through that same lens. And no, I lost it. Go.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
Also, on the back of that, when I used to say this to people, either in therapy or on courses, I was explaining it as I knew it would happen, whether or not they had experienced it yet. When I say it now, I get agreement all around when I say this next bit, because it's actually happened to people. They've had this experience. If a person wants to leave a job because they dislike a particular colleague, then surely enough, the same character tends to pop up in the next job in a different time. There's something
They play different characters over and over again. You betcha. We see this in more than just work.
And the solution, find something to like or admire about that colleague in a new way to get along, and suddenly you've moved on to a different job. Now, this even happens in my job, and I've told you, I've confessed sometimes I've done a large audience, and there's somebody on the front row, and I'm thinking to myself, when I ask for a volunteer, please don't let it be that person. Please don't let it be that person. I'm trying not to think it, but they've got their arms crossed. They look like they're chewing a bee. And I think, oh, please no, please no. And on this occasion, I asked, and it was my own fault. We're our own creators. I wanted to do a technique with somebody to help them sleep. I thought, more than anything else, hypnotherapy helps with sleep. And I'd like to ask for somebody to come up on the stage so I can help them with. And he put his hand up, and he was right in my face. And I actually said to the audience, anybody else? Which made them laugh, because he'd been a bit of a heckler. In that red hot moment, we laughed about it afterwards, but in that red hot moment, I felt that I needed to announce, I don't think I'm going to get on with this guy. And he's been quite difficult. And the kind of ripple of giggle around the auditorium made me realise I was not alone. And I needed him to know, because as we know, the hypnotherapy works on rapport. And so if I'd just been false and said, hey, great, come on up. But when it did come up, part of me thought, and whether it's conscious or unconscious, everybody deserves a good night's sleep. And you know, if he has a good night's sleep tonight, it'll be far easier to handle tomorrow. So I found something, and I always tend to do that. And quite often in my various jobs in various corporations, doing temporary stints in different places, I always kind of find something in whoever is being aggressive or difficult with me, because then it's easy for me to smooth it over. I don't want to bask in a prickly energy. If I've got to stay there for a while, it's in my own interests to find something to like about them, and then everything calms down.
Mm-hmm. And which again, back to, it's an inside story, right? You have that choice. You could be like, no, they're prickly and I don't like it. Or you could find that
I'm going to be there anyway. You know, various jobs. Exactly. And so it like attracts like, doesn't it? And quite often, I think once I had a really good speech about this with regards to the Enneagram. Those qualities in a person that we dislike, particularly the qualities that we dislike in ourselves, we unconsciously project onto others. And so therefore, if we've kind of made an unconscious decision to deal with this particular aspect of personality, and we're not willing to experience it ourselves, we may externalize that and draw that to us. So in one way or another, we're going to learn about that energy and deal with it.
It's often the healing, right? The healing that's needed. It's right smack in the face. Yay!
Well, the Focus 5 challenge. Do you want to hear the challenge?
Yes, let's hear the challenge.
If you're manifesting to work, you need not to believe that it's on its way and coming, but to associate positive feelings and appropriate sensory information specific to the thing you wish to attract.
So I say this, you have to feel it to receive it.
Yeah. So it isn't that linear thing, oh, it's over there, And because I'm doing this, I'm getting closer to it. It's almost like everything's an illusion anyway. What you're actually doing is pulling it towards you, aren't you? By your sensory acceptance of the essence.
And so you actually pointed this out to me, Jen. So if you're missing something, see where it is in your life already. So if, for the example of abundance, see where you do have the abundance. Well, I have an abundance of laundry. I do have an abundance of drama. I have an abundance. I don't have these things, by the way. Universe, cancel, play, and delete.
Oh, yeah.
I have an abundance of crystals. I have an abundance of tarot cards. I have an abundance of beautiful connections. So see where you do have the abundance. So you maybe not have the money abundance quite yet, but as you pull in all these other things, you have the abundance, and really sit with that feeling, then you're going to start to receive it.
Yes, and give oneself the essence of that improved state. And this is the key, within the same situation. Because folks, we're learning to manifest on a super duper level, aren't we? We're learning to manifest. So regardless of what the physical reality tells us, this is about rising above it and associating with the essence of the better state, of the improved state, if you like, and noticing the positive, the genuine positive in everything, like an abundance of clothes, of laundry. Even that, the kind of, and as you know, not too long ago, I had an abundance of somebody else's laundry myself. And that first human response of, oh my God, look how much there is here, then turned to, well, I remember buying that. That's a good top. That's I mean, having had the money to buy all that stuff, having had the wherewithal, when it was all washed and hung up, everybody was admiring the quality of the garments. It's like, oh, this is good. This thing that was thrown on the floor and cast aside, this is actually really nice when it's all freshly laundered and hung up. So an appreciation of the abundance rather than a condemning of it. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Isn't it wonderful? I have all these clothes to wash because my kids don't have more than 2 shirts, right?
Absolutely. And my next bit. If you want an exciting relationship, job, holiday, living environment, then do whatever you can to generate those feelings, to give yourself the essence of that improved state within the same situation. If you feel this is in any way impossible, seek out the feelings you wish to experience elsewhere and overlay them to your current situation. This is how I cure phobias. Get people into a relaxed state and then tiptoe into the area where the agitated state used to be. Because the positive is always stronger than the negative. Some folks get that wrong. You only need a tiny bit of positivity to dispel the darkness. For example, you may want a delicious meal at a top restaurant, so act as if you have that already. You may want a new car, so treat this one as if it were brand new. What would that be like? I think I've said these aren't just words on a page, you know, these have been lived. And I think I've said this to you before, Teresa, but I will repeat it because it's a good one. My experience, my husband had a company car. It was second-hand. It was passed on from some other manager. And he absolutely adored this car. And it was quite an old car. And every week he was waxing. It wouldn't just wax it. It was, you know, using the right washer and then using a certain a certain rag, a certain material to buff it up, then putting the polish on, then waiting, then buffing it up, and then comes out the chrome cleaner. Every bit of chrome was sparkling, and then all the interior was done. You know, it was a whole day job. And it wasn't a particularly revered car, shall we say. But, you know, pretty soon they gave him another car, which was far superior, that everybody else was jealous of. And I just know this was in weeks. His attention. People would say to him, even neighbours, well, it's not your car, is it? You might as well treat it like trash, because they'll, you know, it's up to them to valet it, to clean it. It's up to them to fix it if it goes wrong. I don't know why you're spending your time on it. They'll do it at the shop. Why are you doing it here? But he just gave it such loving attention. Within weeks, he had a massive silver, brilliant, lovely car, which was wonderful. So I had his old one.
Which was very well taken care of.
It's absolutely wonderful. It became a 2-car family. But I do know that quite often, even if I don't know the lesson at the time, when I look back, I've got hundreds of experiences to tell you that this stuff works in this particular way. So if you're not doing it yourself, notice somebody that's doing it, and notice what good fortune comes to them by their attention to the essence of that which they want.
And the gratitude in what you have already. So it's not saying that he didn't want a nice new car, but he was really so grateful for what he had.
He was very, very grateful.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes, you know, particularly when it's loved ones, we might think as a wife or mother or whatever, well, you deserve so much more. That's not good enough for you. The hours you put in, and they should have given you a different car. We kind of inadvertently tell them what they've done, because they've done the manifesting, isn't good enough.
Right.
When actually they're glorifying in what they have accomplished, you know. And so to join in with that accomplishment and to realize that, yeah, of course we want better for our family and ourselves, etc. Though at that time, if they're reveling in something that you think is small that's happened to them, bask in their appreciation, you know, because it really works.
Well, and it's also, Jen, it's a really nice story about enjoying for the joy of it. It doesn't really matter what the material was. He was enjoying it for the joy of it. And that feeling and that essence of enjoyment, of treasuring, of preciousness, that can be invoked and felt and kind of played with in anything you do.
Yes, yeah. Oh, another experience is fishing. I never understood fishing. People sitting there for ages, dangling a bit of string in the water.
Like meditation. It's just meditation for boys.
I now know all about. I wrote a wonderful poem about it. That kind of focus, that there's something going on under the surface, and there's be a huge excitement at some point. But for now, I can rest. For now, I can just watch. For now, I'm doing something without doing something. I'm doing something. I'm allowing myself to just sit here and focus and know that every so often there might be some excitement. There's a fish, there's a fish, there's a fish. But it is that enjoyment of the peace, the tranquility, the green, the breeze, the changes in weather, the rapport with nature. It isn't just fishing. And that's for all the ladies that might still have to go fishing with their husbands. It's a wonderful experience. I love it.
Well, even to build on that more, when you get the money, it's really not about the money. It's enjoyment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you get £10 for doing something, you've got £10 for doing this thing that you really love and really want to do. You could earn £100 doing something else that you don't quite like. But this £10, this is what you really, this is your vocation. This is what you really want to do with your life. Thank you very much for the little jobs that you're sending to our people here in England. That's wonderful.
Thank you for the jobs your people in England are doing. Lovely.
Isn't it wonderful though when you find somebody that really loves doing what either we're not particularly good at or we don't like doing, and somebody else loves doing it and glorifies in it. You know, we could just match everybody up in the world like that. You know, somebody that needs something done and somebody that can do it with joy.
Yeah, and that's what we're coming into, I think, Jen. That's really what this whole vibrational raise is about. You know, that idea of not liking our jobs anymore. People are finding the jobs they really like that fulfill them, and then the abundance is coming.
Because I've often said when people, because I wouldn't take it, you know, I was in a situation, as you know, where I'd be paid a great deal for doing a job that I didn't like for a very short period of time. And I'd go all to these different companies, and I had to protect my vibration. So if somebody started, as they often do, maybe it was my energy, as you say, but somebody started to moan at me about their job or about what I was doing, I'd have to, for my own benefit, shut them up, because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I've got to keep my energy high, because I've got 20 people to train in a second in this room who none of them want to be there. And I've somehow got to get all this information into their heads, else I'm for the chop, because this system will fail, etc. So if that was happening, this idea that somebody is in, and they never took it well, but hopefully they pondered on it afterwards. And quite often I returned to a job, say a couple of years later, and I was always remembered, because I was remembered for being the one that when they moaned at me, I'd say, well, perhaps there's somebody else waiting in the wings that would really enjoy that job. And you know what you're doing? You're holding up the flow. Maybe your time to have gone on to another job has passed you by. And that's what you're clinging on to it for whatever reason, because of your mortgage or whatever. You're clinging on to this job that you hate, and you're stopping the person that would love it coming forward to take it. And you're holding yourself up because there's a job somewhere else. Yeah, but what about my age? Yeah, but I'll never do that. But they are stopping the flow. And so that kind of shock, oh, she doesn't agree with me. She's supposed to be agreeing with my moan now. Every so often, somebody would come to me and I'd say, do you know, you're just holding everything up. If you really don't want it, move on, find something else, and let the person that really wants to do it, probably for far less money than they're paying you, let them do it with joy. Let them do it. Move over.
And in that way, you're actually you were flipping them too, Jen. You're helping them. Wait. No. I love it. I like it. Flipping that whole like core thing, right? And there's nothing faster to flip people than saying, "Oh, well, then just get divorced anyways." No. I don't want to get divorced. No. I don't want to quit. Often I've tried this tactic. They've whined. This person is terrible. Well, then you know what? End it. No. I don't want to end it. No. Okay, well then tell me all the good things about it. Tell me all the great things.
I just want them to change. But if they change, then they'd be very bored in the relationship. And, and the person that changed would be changing for them. And, we know those stories. Everything gets murky. So let's look at working with essence. You want a sports car. So look at the reasons you want it, and you will maybe descend into negativity, either talking about the lack of the vehicle or the inadequacies of the vehicle that you have. When people talk about something glorious that they want, it's not always a positive experience, because then they're comparing it to the load of crap they've got at the moment.
Yeah, it's a real tricky thing.
Oh, I love it. On the course, I would say, tell me about this heap of crap you're driving. Well, the clutch sticks and the handbrake needs adjustments, and every so often it stops for no reason. It sounds really rattly. It does this, and I say, right, okay. Do you know now? I've got all the juice I need. So I'll let them go on. Everybody's thinking, well, this is supposed to be positive. And I'll say, right, okay, close your eyes. You turn everything they've told me, I'll flip around. You turn the key and you hear the engine fire up. And something about the quality of the sound and the growl of the engine makes you realize it's going to be so reliable and it's going to take you wherever you need to go. You recognize just how comfortable the seat is, and the seating position is exactly right for you. You touch a button and the window wipers come on. And so what they've probably said is, and the window wipers stick. So you take everything that they've said that's negative about the thing that they've got, and you pour it into the imagination of the thing that they want and revivify it. And everybody just feels wonderful afterwards, particularly I could hear the sound of the engine, oh, the reliability, and when they do have that thing, because I've been in this situation again, when people have had that thing that they've said they've wanted, and they stop appreciating it. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. No, tell me how wonderful it is. It's fine. Tell me how wonderful it is. Well, you almost have to coax out of people how wonderful and magical and fulfilling this thing is that they've got.
So basically, Jen, what we're saying is you got to pause. You got to spend your time. You got to spend at least 5 minutes a day really delving into your imagination of what you want and really delving into your imagination of what you have.
Yes. And the absence of it calls forth the desire for better. So these reasons are important. If the car you have does not pull enough and is unreliable, you want to associate with powerful performance and reliability. That's the essence, you see? So, okay, just thought of this. So the car that the person's got may not have enough pull and is unreliable. And if they want to associate with powerful performance and reliability, they've probably got a damn good food mixer.
Yeah, I like it.
That's where the power and reliability
Right.
is.
Yeah.
That's a
See where
machine.
you have it.
These are
See where you have
machines
it.
that serve us. Yeah, you already have it. In this example, rather than bemoaning the absence of the powerful performance and reliability, which your car will be reminding you of every time you use it, and thus perpetuating the influence, seek out where in life you have these qualities. Every aspect of life already exists, and you have more access to it than you think. You may want powerful performance and reliability wrapped up in a sports car, though look where it is already.
Yes, look where all the places there are already. Look at all the pieces. Okay.
Oh gosh, where's that hour gone? I've
I
got lots
know.
more.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. What else do we have to learn? Let's get them going on some solid tricks and tips.
Ooh, okay. What serves you? Some folks go and test drive the car they really want, and it serves you well to do that if it inspires you and fires you up and makes the having of it seem increasingly possible. Then go do it, I say. Though if it serves to make you despondent in a kind of, I'll never be able to afford such a beautiful thing in my life, then stay away.
Right.
Find what serves you. What serves you? What can you flip? Look for the essence of it. Look for the essence. Look for the essence in what you want where you have it already. If you stare in awe and wonder at the magnificence of a graceful, elegant, powerful car stalking its prey, a powerful, elegant jaguar stalking its prey in nature,
There you go.
I did this in a TV show, and you appreciate its beauty and its power, and you just know that they can reliably use everything that they possess to fire up those muscles and power up those legs to sprint off at speed into the distance of the landscape and win their prize, then you got the point. There is a reason why cars are called after such animals, isn't there? There are reasons why commercials use what exists naturally in nature to sell you stuff,
Right.
even down to billowing sheets of washing drying on the glorious mountain tops of the Austrian Tyrol, to give you the idea that when you remove your underwear from the tumble dryer in that flat of yours, it will smell like they do, provided you purchase the stated fabric conditioner, that is. Yeah.
Right. And you're right. Commercials are very good at giving us that essence and that feeling. And so I think it's not so much about the things now. It's about that feeling healthy, happiness, feeling joy, feeling freedom, feeling connection. So look at those different places in your world today that you can connect, it may not look like it used to, but we have, like Jenny and I are able to connect across the world here, and we're able to connect with you today. And to share this beautiful knowledge with you. Look for it in your life. And if you need help, always reach out. Jen and I are here for a private message or a visit or a pick-me-up, a little vibration kick in the butt.
Yeah, absolutely, which we do to each other constantly.
Vibrational kick in the butt. Officially. Okay, so a couple weeks we're going to record this again with the last trial. Thank you, everyone who has watched. And pop on YouTube. And what are you going to leave with, Jen?
Oh, the next one, a sneaky peek, is the high vibes trial. How to actually get on that high flying disc and stay there. The high vibes trial, that will be 12. And then we have the day of reckoning, all the reminders that if you've passed these trials, this is what you ought to be experiencing now. And we can always chop back and revivify something else.
Absolutely.
It doesn't end here, it just begins here. It begins here.
Yeah. Absolutely. It begins here. And that high vibe is a great thing for every part of our life. So grab the book, guys. Check it out. Do the crib notes. Enjoy it. Live it. Learn it. Law of Attraction. Available on Amazon in Canada and the UK. Okay. Till next time. We'll see you soon. This is Teresa Collins and
Jennie Kitching.
Bye.
And bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have a good time, everyone. Bye-bye.